Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn to Draw 101 with your instructor, Mr. Derek Stevens. Hey, Derek.
Hello, hello.
Hello, good sir. Also joining us tonight, but she'll be helping, but she's also a student, the lovely Nina Covington.
Hi, guys.
That's right.
Yay.
And I will also be here facilitating as well, helping to make sure that everything technically runs sound from this end, Mr. Jason Busby. All right, thank you.
Yay.
All right, so first off, we will be broadcasting tonight as we're starting to do more of the classes this way in 720p resolution, so it will look all that much better afterwards when we put it up to be watched later on from 3D Buzz. So a huge welcome to all of you guys that were able to make it out here. I am absolutely blown away with it being a Friday night and there being this many of you in the class right now. It's really surprising, and it's absolutely awesome. Especially since I recognize a lot of these names with you guys being overseas. I know it is very late for you there. So,
Abend, was machst du?
a couple of
Das
things.
ist toll.
Couple of
sorry,
things that
that's
I'd like
not
to. No, that's okay. A couple of things I'd like to go over real quick before I hand this over to Derek. Requirements for the class. Derek is going to be working with Photoshop CS6, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. But the lowest requirement form, if you will, is just paper and pencil or paper and pen. It would be fantastic if you had some means of scanning an image, or, you know, a cell phone with a camera. Almost everybody has those these days. So you can take a picture of what you've drawn, because Derek is very excited about being able to give everyone that participates in this class feedback. And feedback is always excellent if you are looking towards growing with your skills. So again, lowest form, paper and pencil or pen. Highest form, some sort of paint application. Photoshop, GIMP, which is free. But of course, you know, using some sort of paint application brings us to the question of mouse or tablet. And obviously, learning to draw, I would highly recommend getting a tablet. Doing it with a mouse would just be horrible. Wouldn't you agree, Derek?
Indeed, I've done that before. Actually, I'm going to show you guys a rendering I did of an orc. It turned out really well.
Remember, they can't see your screen quite yet.
No, I understand.
Oh, okay.
But it is ready. It is ready.
Okay, fantastic. So hopefully those of you that are following along digitally have access to a tablet of some sort. Now, as far as tablet goes, you can go out and you can get a Wacom tablet. They're very expensive. There is another tablet that you can get. It's called, or it's by Monoprice, and it runs about just over $50 and actually does a really good job. That's what Derek is using, and my lovely wife in the other room, who is also taking this class.
That is freaking awesome. I love you, Angie.
You've got everybody in this house, Derek, except for me, because I'm helping run it, but everybody here is actually taking your course.
Even Meta's taking it.
Meta's at home, and she's taking it too. But
you tell Meta she's awesome. I'm going to tell her right now, Meta, you're awesome. I love your ears.
So
let me rephrase that. Her fox ears.
So she also has one of these Monoprice tablets as well, and working very well for them. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there in case there were any of you that always thought Wacoms were so expensive, so you could just not afford getting a tablet. Take a look at Monoprice. It does a fantastic job. So as I said just a moment ago, Mr. Stevens will be using Photoshop CS6, but I am going to speak up for Mr. Stevens real quick and let you guys all know this is not a Photoshop class. Derek was worried earlier. I was like, oh, I'm using Photoshop, but what if they start wanting me to teach Photoshop? No. Derek is an awesome traditional artist that has been working with pen and pencil and other medium for so many years now. It's crazy. I just wanted to point out that he's going to be using Photoshop at my request so that you guys are all able to see what he's doing easily. Of course, it makes it a lot easier for us to broadcast this. Plus, it's good for Derek, too. So he is not a Photoshop expert. I'm going to throw that out there real quick. So remember, this is not about Photoshop. This is about learning how to draw. A couple other final things, and then that'll be it for the intro of the class. The BuzzNet application, for those that are with us right now over in the webinar but are not in BuzzNet, if you point your web browser to buzznet.3dbuzz.com, you can log in with your regular 3D Buzz credentials, and you will be in the chat area, the classroom chat area, with everyone else. And there's probably 10 to 15 of you guys that are not over there at the moment. It's not a requirement, but getting over there, you will see what everyone else is saying. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. The other thing is, for those of you that are new to a 3D Buzz Live class, until the new website is up, the way we handle live classes right now is just kind of a little archaic. The new website should be up soon, and once it's up, it's going to make everything we do with live classes so much more streamlined as far as homework submission, knowing how long till your next class starts, all that good stuff. But for now, after the class is over, if you go to live classes, with whatever today is, so what is it? Today's a Friday, first day of Learn to Draw. Right now you can see just registration is available. The P means that a password has also been posted in it. Once this class is over tonight, I will encode it. Once the encoding is done, I will upload it, and then a V will also appear, just like you can see over here with Thomas Dodd or any of these other ones. Basically, the V indicates that the video of tonight's class is now available, so you can simply click on whichever class is of interest to you in regards to watching the video, and just click Watch Video. You will also see H's appear as well, and that will take you straight to the thread where homework is at. So this is the way to quickly gain access to everything that deals with classes right now. And again, for those of you that are jumping in the Learn to Draw and the first time you've ever taken a live class at 3D Buzz, I just want to remind you all of our live classes are available to you as being a member sponsor, plus all of our past recorded classes as well. So feel free to jump in all of the classes that interest you. So that's pretty much all I wanted to point out. At this point, I want to go ahead and take the system and have the screen turned over to Mr. Stevens. Are you ready, sir?
I am.
All right.
Roger that.
So making Derek our presenter.
Show my screen. Indeed, I will. Hello, everyone. This is me here. Look at my ears. I'm happy to be here. A lot going on here, and let's see. I'm going to start out just from the basics. Tell you a little bit about myself. I've had stacks of rejection letters, and for those of you who've watched the old VTMs, I'm going to go over the same information, but a slightly different accent this time, and next class even a sillier one possibly. I started out going to college, and I hated it. Like, this sucks. I don't really want to do lots of work. So one of my buddies, Christopher Shy, who did lots of stuff, he's like, you need to learn to draw like Tim Bradstreet. So I started learning that, doing White Wolf work and yada, yada, yada. And then he's like, you need to learn 3D. And I'm like, whoa, I need to learn 2D first. And it was a long road. I started off when I had to mail in submissions, and you had to get an envelope, self-addressed envelope, and mail back to them so they could mail you back and say, you really suck. And I've had that happen a couple times. And again, it was a very long, hard road. Done a lot of great things with 3D Buzz. I got to work, one of the highlights was with Unreal Tournament 2004 as a concept artist for Buzz to the Unreal guys. Tons of RPG books, comic books, concept work. And the biggest thing here is this is not really a concept art class. I don't want anyone to get nervous. But I want to talk about what I do with my skills. I actually have a couple different resumes. I have an art resume, a mental health resume that is my day job, and I've done personal security, which my drawing skills have helped out on. I can go into an entry point, and I can draw what I see. When I go in there, I come back, debrief, and I can draw choke points, environments, and stuff like that. So that came in handy. But the biggest and funnest thing is comic books, things coming to life. So I've done lots of concept work. And Buzz, he pushed me hard. Whenever I first met him, I could draw manga like no one's business, but he had a very specific style for me. And he rode me hard and made me say a few choice words that rhyme with witch and stuff like that. He's like, push the darkest darker. I'm like, I am pushing them dark. And it's frustrating. And this lends me to say about our homework. Buzz is absolutely right. He mentioned earlier that the only way we can grow is by feedback. I'm going to throw this story out, and we're going to start very shortly, but I was in line for Marvel. This is when I first started. I thought, I'm pretty good. Hopefully I'll get some work with these guys. Everyone wants that. And there was probably a 8 to 9-year-old kid in front of me, and he had these huge pieces of paper, and it literally looked like he threw ink on them. I mean, they sucked. No way around it. I would never tell a kid he sucked, but the Marvel guy did. The Marvel guy looks at him and says, "You really think I'm going to publish this crap in my books? Get out of the line. You're wasting my time." And then I was next. I'm like, oh man, if he's going to tear this kid up, what the hell is he going to tell me? He's like, "You draw too much like Image. This, learn anatomy. Get out of here." I'm like, okay.
Have a good day.
So, yeah, thank you very much, whoever pooped in your Kool-Aid. So I say this to say that to be an artist, one who makes money, you have to be like a rhinoceros's bottom, tough and hard all over, because you cannot please everybody. Some people will think that you're the greatest gift in the world, while other people say, "I hate you, I think you suck," or "You're a lie-filled." Everyone's kind of chuckling who knows that. So, with that said, as I look at my notes, because I want to stick to my syllabus, what I want to do is ask you, what is concept art? Is it nice? Is it slick? Is it pretty, pristine? Is it rough? Is it hard? Dramatic pause. What we're going to do is, you're looking at my screen right now. Everyone correct?
Yep.
I can see everybody nodding. Yep, and dude, you stop picking your nose. I can see through your screens. All right. Let's look at this image here real quick. That's nice and slick. And all I did was Google, what is concept art? And what we're seeing is a variety of styles, painterly. Then we have something that is rough down here. We'll look at this. I love it. It's brilliant. It's very expressive. Is it finished? I don't know. Is it good enough for a job? I've learned you please your art director. And some art directors I've worked for made me do 20 different pictures, narrow those 20 down to 5, from those 5, another 5, and it is a long, drawn-out process. Some people I can please right away, just 1 or 2 drawings, and we tweak this, this, and that, and you're good to go. Again, the boss is always right, no matter where you work, whether you're serving fries, you're working at Walmart, or you're doing concept work. So, with that said, looking more at my notes, tools of the trade. When I work with paper, and I really like paper, I'm doing, for shameless plug here, a comic book called Sisters of Robin for Heavy Cat Studios. I use comic book paper, the pro stuff, Blue Line, and I use pencils. I use my T-square. Everybody should have a T-square. It lines things up. Long rulers for perspective, and we'll go over that in future classes. The pens I use are micron pens, and the sizes are 8, 5s, and 3s, and a lot of people may be going, what does that mean? Well, that ties into line with variation. And what we can do in Photoshop, looking at my screen here, if you see right up here in my brush, I have a 19. This is how, look how thick this is. Oop. Here we go. I'm going to change it to, we'll say, a 30 to a dramatic change. And watch how much thicker this is to that. And the essence of making things pop is all about line with variations. And again, we're going to cover this in future classes, but it is very important to learn, why do you use line with variation? I personally, whenever I pencil my own work, I don't trust inkers. I mean, I hate inking my own stuff, but if I put something down, I want to have a line with variation. I want my lines nice and crisp. So literally the inker only has, he or she only has to trace. Because if I leave anything in interpretation, I may not be pleased with what's coming out at the end. Prisma markers. I love marker comps. I like doing fashion stuff. If anyone's seen my artwork here, I love drawing hot women. I can't help it. I'm a guy. I love women, guns, dragons, and occasionally a dude or two. And we will go over some male anatomy. The physique, not what you're thinking, Buzz. Later on in some classes, we're not going to cover the female anatomy during this particular drawing class because females are made up of less lines. They have to flow. And we're going to learn how to do exercises. And and sketching and hatch marks and all this just to make yourself nice and loose. The theory behind everything is to push and to pull nice, long, clean lines. That's going to help you out a lot in the future. All right.
Well, real quick, I
Yeah.
just wanted to jump in just a few things that have come in over on the questions panel. One was, so do I need to learn anatomy before learning to draw?
No, not at all. And I'll tell you why. Because this is not an anatomy class at all. But what I'm going to do is tie in some basic anatomy with shapes. Again, I'm not for sure what's in here for the pre-talk, but we're going to build a solid foundation on everything. I believe that we need to have a solid understanding of what are shapes. And by shapes, I'm talking circles, triangles, cylinders. And that's how I do everything. I was a bouncer at a number of gentlemen's clubs, and we won't talk anything details, but for a while when I got on, I'm watching the girls on stage, because, I do that. I have to watch to make sure they're safe. Say no more, say no more. I would actually see cylinders and circles when they danced. And it's, I'm a freak, I know. But everything is built up on shapes. So what we're going to do right now, grab your pencils and papers, put your trays in the upright position. No smoking sign has been posted, and it's time to draw. First rule of drawing is you draw lightly. Second rule is you draw lightly. Third rule is you got to look good while you draw. All right? Now, this is not really so important with a Wacom or a Micron piece. What am I working on? Yeah, micro. Okay. Because we can erase, we can blend. But if you're working on paper, you got to draw lightly. If you don't draw lightly, you're going to leave yourself ghost lines. And no matter how hard you erase, they're always going to be there. So, what we're going to do is talk about a simple, everyday circle. I'm giving you some time, everyone, to draw a simple circle. What can you make out of a circle? Well, I'll tell you what you can make out of a circle. We can put a little cube right here. Whoops. Shape it the way we want to. And we have ourselves a little apple with a little bit of erasing. How about another circle, or we call it an oval? Oval here. Oval here. I'm not talking about Ovaltine. By doing this, simple shapes, we have ourselves a little tankard. We can for decoration. Come in here and erase this back guideline when we select the right tool, and you have yourself a very rudimentary type sort of shape of a glass. So circles, I like them. Does anybody can draw them? How about squares? Let's turn my brush down just a little bit, okay? Everybody knows what a square is. We can say, here we go, it's a square. What we're going to do is throw a little bit of perspective in here. Make my little vanishing point here. Woo! Taking this corner to the dot. Taking this corner to this corner. Then we can just bring it up here. And we just made 3D without Maya, without Max, Houdini. We rock. Again, simple, everyday shapes. And if you look around, what's on your desk right now? What's in front of you right now? Do you have a desk? Are you on a desk? Do you have a cup in front of you? I used to hate drawing still lifes. I'm not going to lie to you. I hated apples and fruit and all that crap. But I learned how to shade properly. I understood light, and I understood you draw what you see. Unfortunately, all my models, my women, I don't have tons of hot women around me. I've got a hot wife, which I use a lot for that. But I have more apples probably to draw than hot women. So draw what you have and what you can see. So everyone can draw a circle, correct, Buzz?
Well, I would hope so.
Nina, did you draw a circle successfully?
I successfully drew a circle.
Now we did have a question come in, though I don't think this is really relevant at the moment. But that is, what dimensions are you using for your document, Derek?
Oh, let me look for you. Image size. I'm at 200 dpi dots per inch, 15 height, and the width is 12. Does that mean anything? Absolutely not. It's just something I put in here so I can zoom in and zoom out. Now you're all getting hypnotized. So, with that said, what we're going to do is our circles. We can make a circle. We can make a square. We can make a triangle. And we can make a cylinder. Everybody in agreement, shake your head and say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so believe it or not, these are the tools that we're going to build from. Everything that I've had, let me show you my screen here real quick. Everything on the screen started out with simple shapes. You can see the circle and stuff here. And let me throw back to, again, penciling on this side compared to inking. And if you look at this line right through here, can you see my little tool? Thick. Almost the same line with as I drew here. I like to draw my renderings like I like to ink them. If you look here to the compared to the nose, thick to thin, and the bridge right here a little more thick. Come back here. Let's look at this real quick. You guys are talking about what you can do with a Wacom tablet, or a tablet per se. This was actually done with a mouse. I drew this image here during a meeting. That's how much I love my job. And I'm like, this kind of works. I'm going to take it home, and I literally scanned it and painted on top of it with a mouse. It can be done, but it's a pain in the butt. So again, I recommend a tablet, a mouse, pencil and paper if you have a scanner. And future classes, we're going to go into marker comps. We're going to go into shading and all that fun stuff. Buzz, sound like you were going to say something.
No, not at all. That was my dog sneezing out in the hallway, believe it or not.
Yipes.
I thought that was Nelson.
No, it wasn't Nelson.
All right. Again, this is a throwback to the first VTMs that I got to do. We're going to draw something. And I'm going to ask people in the questions and comments and chat area not to say anything, what we're going to draw, if you know what's going to happen. Actually, I'm going to change it up just a little bit. I'm going to be crazy right here. We're going to do a couple of exercises. What we're going to do is I'm using my marquee tool. The wise men showed me this trick earlier today. I'm going to hit stroke. I have 3 pixels selected. I'm going to hit OK, hit Control D, and I've got myself a little box. Now, what's important here is if I draw up here and select the right tool, the brush, I want you to draw up here. And I want you to draw down here. If I draw here, this is important. You need to draw here. If I'm drawing here, you need to draw there. Everybody understand? Yeah.
So draw outside the lines. Gotcha. Let's do this.
Right. So,
I'm with you.
He stays here no matter what, and then we go. No, not at all. No. So he stays here, and we go. Right. No, not at all. I'm being silly as I make my box again. I'm going to make sure my brush tool is selected this time so I don't look like a total twit, as more so than I am. My opacity is set at 45. We'll crank it up to about 50, 51. And again, let's bring my brush size down
real quick,
to 8.
we've got Nelson asking about your brush size, and you can see he's got it set at 8 with an opacity of 51.
Roger that. And the reason I like, okay, here we go. Solid, 100%. Strong line, right? I personally, whenever I'm starting to do a first pass, I like it down to even the 30s. Reason being, I can build up on this really quickly. And if I do the solid line right here, I like to do that for my finished sort of work.
And Nate,
I'm an angry elf.
Nate asks a question real quick. He says, does our sketchbooks need to be in portrait or landscape if we're supposed to draw where Derek is drawing?
Well, okay, let's look at my image size. Image size, we stated, is 15 high, so it's got to be taller than it is wide. 15 high, 12 inches wide. So, Mr. Buzz, $10 question, is it landscape or is it the other one?
I'm just going to simply say, just draw on your paper. I'm just going to, I mean, if you're using a sketchbook, just, all right, in this case, not that it really matters in my opinion, I would turn it in a landscape fashion and just stay within the edges of your paper. Don't draw on your knee or desk or anything like that, and that'll be just fine.
Roger that.
Yeah,
So
and
again,
for those, there's a lot of people writing about technical questions because there are a few other ones that have come in. These specifics that are being asked are completely irrelevant. Derek is just trying to establish a drawing relationship with you guys as far as where on this media that he's clicking, is it going to be in the upper left-hand corner, the bottom right-hand corner? He's just wanting to make sure that if he starts in the upper left, that someone who's following along is not starting in the lower right-hand corner of their paper, then they're going to run out of space. And the only other really important thing that he's trying to stress, and I totally agree with this, and that is, when you're starting out with your first rough sketches, always work at low opacities, always.
well said. Well said indeed, Mr. Bond.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so let us draw.
All right. We're going to learn the alphabet. My 3-year-old knows the alphabet. I'm sure we can all do this as well. What we're going to do, here's my little stylus pointer thingy. I'm going to draw the letter C. Now, don't draw yet. Stop, stop, stop. If you notice, from right here to right here, there's like an imaginary plane. It's connecting. It's not going past. You have a little imaginary plane right here. Now, if you're drawing your C up here, you're drawing in the wrong place. You're drawing it over here in the wrong place. If you look at my work area, this is where it's relevant. I'm drawing right here. Roger that, roger that. So we draw the letter C. And then we're going to draw an upside down V like that. Now notice it's not super skinny. It's not super wide like that. This is a nice letter V. And Buzz and Nina are like, what the hell are you doing? We didn't do this in rehearsal.
You called that a rehearsal earlier? I was just testing to make sure that it worked.
The rehearsal.
I was like,
that
was a rehearsal? Okay, continue.
Okay, well, we do have a $10 million budget, correct?
Yeah, of Monopoly money.
No. Okay, we got the letter C, the upside down V. And what we're going to do now, almost at a 45-degree angle, and please do not write me because I don't know geometry that well. It may not be 45 degrees, but I'm calling it 45 degrees. We're making another letter V, like so. Now notice, from here to here, it's almost like an imaginary plane. It's not going to break. It's almost even. All right, so we got the letter C, upside down V, and a big upside down V. So, I like the letter V. Here's what we're going to do. From this area right here at the bottom of the C, we're going to make another V like this and connect them like that.
Now, I noticed that V had a little bit of curvature going in. Is that important?
No,
okay.
It is not. I like the curve. It's just a way for me to connect it without hitting the Control-Z button or getting my eraser tool out. And so we don't have this awkward moment of me going, crap. Because it happens. I mean, it happens to the best of us. You're going to mess up. This is why it's called the first pass. But the most brilliant thing is you don't know what we're drawing, or you should not. So it doesn't really matter what I do. Just follow along, smile and nod. Smile and wave, boys. All right. This area right up here, from this line to this line, we're going to the middle. And we're making a letter N. Here we go. Like that. Right up here, very top of this letter V, we're going to come down like a couple centimeters. That's for all my foreign friends. That's about all I know of the metric system. You can just tell Jimmy Carter that he didn't do a good job for the metric system. All right, from here, it's true. It's true. Jimmy Carter just had a lot of nuts to show because he liked to collect peanuts. Georgia, Georgia, Georgia. From right here, what we're going to do is almost like a lazy, I don't know. We never call that, Buzz. It's not a letter S.
It's like a lazy J almost turned at an angle.
There you go. Thank you very much. A lazy J. I like that. All right, from here, this little corner right here. Everyone see that? We're going to come up right here like this. It's a small little line like that. And from here, and I'm going to do sound effects because I like sound effects. I'm going to go boop, just like that. See? Easy. And we're going to make another little hook here. Pop. All right, so we have this lazy J. We have a little hook here, And we're going to meet here in the corner. Now, don't draw yet until I'm done. What we're going to do is try to make it even with everything else from here to here. I don't want to see like that because that's not what I drew. Take your time. Don't get frustrated. Try to make it nice and pretty. All right, so what in the heck is this thing?
Well, we
Anybody guessing over there?
we had all sorts of guesses coming in. A teapot, dragon, sexy woman, sexy dragon. Mr. Bratwurst needs coffee desperately. We had the guess of Master Chief earlier, and now we have no idea. Duck, duck, a duck. Please,
That's your
I
sexy
want
woman
to
right there.
die, and goblin.
Please, I wants to die.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be from Iron Soul.
Don't die on me, dude. I'd hate to lose my first student.
And Brian
But I'm
says,
going to keep going.
Brian says a chicken, so.
Chicken is close. Because look at the size of that pecker right there. It's huge. Buzz is like, oh my God. What we're going to do, it is a chicken-esque bird, so we've got to let him breathe. Right here. That's going to be his nose.
I love Iron Soul's answer. Nah, I'm just guessing from the lesson outline. It said a duck. Sorry, man, I had to spice your voice up a little, but I thought that was awesome.
That is
Smart Alec.
awesome.
And Alex a cheater.
Yeah, what's up with...
Tears.
I told him. Or, all right. What's this dude's name?
Iron Soul.
Iron Soul, you're on my poop list. I'm keeping a list right now. All right? Iron Soul. Here. Soul.
He's quite happy now. He's first one there.
Iron Soul poop list.
All right. There. You made it official. It's on my list. What we're going to do at the top of his beak right here, we're going to make a line, and we're going to connect it like that. And from here, we're going to take this line here. We're going to connect it like that, almost like a bow. I'm actually pointing to my screen, Miss Nina, like, you got to do it this way, like you guys can see me. Can you see me?
I saw. I'm watching you.
I'm only wearing a smile and my bunny slippers, so
I wasn't going to
it's
tell
awesome
everybody
here.
that.
It's all right. I like to share. What we're going to do now is right here, the top of this eyeball here, we're going to make it even. Scoot over a little bit, make another line down like this. And if you look, it's very important symmetry. Not as in like, you put someone dead in the ground, but symmetry is in like things look the same. We make this bow out to here, to this part of his cheek. I'm going to take this out here and right next to the same.
Now, while you guys are getting caught up with him, I just want to see real quick, for those of you that are now caught up, who's going to be joining me with the Objective C Intense Crash Course? Just say me over in BuzzNet. Maybe none of you guys, because it's a drawing class. Me, okay, well, yeah, Nelson, of course. Okay, listen up, guys. Enjoy Mr. Stevens, okay? Yeah, enjoy him holding your hand and prancing through a beautiful field of flowers, because I'm going to beat the holy hell out of you guys. Okay, back to you, Derek.
Coming.
You're just such a
listen.
sweetheart compared to me. Oh, God.
Okay, obviously you were Simon, and I'm more of Paul or Abdul. I'm going to clap my hands. You're a great singer. You're a great artist. No, I will not do that. I just don't want to lose anybody in my first class, except maybe Iron Soul. Poop list. Look. What we're going to do here is we're going to draw like the golden arches into his eye. Make a little circle here, circle there, circle there. Gotta do lots of circles. I'll show you what these are for. These are rudimentary highlights. But again, we're talking about shapes. Circles, circles, ovals, ovals, V's, oval, ovaltine. What we're going to do here is make a small triangle underneath his neck. Now we're not right here like this. Not over here. We don't want to do that. Right by the curvature of his neck like that. And from right here, side of his beak, one solid lazy line. Everybody with me? Of course you are. From the tip of this, we're going to do one triangle, two triangles, three triangles. And then a bunch of little ends upside down in, upside down in, upside down in, upside down in. It's a rudimentary woody woodpecker. Now, it's not the real thing because I don't want to be sued by Lance Walt. That's a $10 million thing. I know who drew Woody Woodpecker, but I can't do my damn payroll. The Mac machine in front of me is making fun of me. So what we're going to do with our highlights and stuff, I'm going to change my brush size. I'm going to bring this up here to, like, let's say a 32. And I'm just going to color these in. Look, we have a woodpecker. Now, this image is simple. All we did is shapes, correct? Someone give me a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I would ask. So we did shapes in an abstract way.
We did.
Do you often? I know a lot of artist students. Do you often, like if you're working in Photoshop, do a new layer and then do complete shapes, as in like, you know, a series of circles that I know you do. I've seen you do it before.
I do, and you know what? We're going to do one more exercise like this, and then I'm going to throw down a very fast figure, like maybe 2 to 3 layers at most, because I want to show these naysayers out here that this is how it's really done. That there's no magic pill. There's no magic number of hours of sleep that you can have. You just have to practice, practice, practice. And I'm going to warn everybody, some people are born with the ability of spatial awareness. Some people are not, but I believe we can all learn it if we just pay attention to simple shapes. So on, I guess, the chat box, how did everybody do? Does it look anything like mine at all?
Did anybody turn out with successful ducks?
Would you like to see? Mine's got a very bad hairdo.
Oh my goodness! Let's switch over to Nina's screen
first.
Because
I'm using the wrong computer.
Oh no,
Yeah.
she cheated.
I did cheat.
She's not. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can't see hers. Very slick there, Nina. Hers is interesting. I will definitely say that.
Look, let me see if I can.
Okay, so anybody else? Let's see. Nice. Pretty close. Proportions are off. So anybody that, so raise your hand over in, I'll just pick a couple people real quick. Raise your hands over in the webinar system. And we'll start out with, I believe this is Iron Soul himself. Let's take a quick peek.
Poop list.
So, see what we got. Iron Soul, is that you?
There you go. Yeah, can you hear me?
All right, yeah, we can hear you.
Not bad at all, Poop Man.
Oh, his looks way better than mine.
Not bad.
Well,
yeah,
let me ask you something.
By the way.
Mr. Iron Soul, if indeed that is your true name, have you had any trolling experience in the past?
Not really, but I did draw a fish once.
Awesome.
You did a really good job.
I put it on the forums if you want to see it.
Sweet. Okay. So, but yeah, not bad.
All right. Want to see my fish?
Can you get to it really quickly? Like,
is this a trick question?
Let's see how fast. No, it's not a trick question. Come on, can't you hear the seriousness in his voice?
I want to see more fish.
Now, where did I put that?
Okay, we'll come back to you in 1 second, Iron Soul. While you were hunting for it, because where is he at? I saw Mr. Complicated over here. Come on, looking for names. Looking for names. Here we go. Let's see what we've got going on over here.
Where is my fish?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Brilliant.
Hi. It's 3 a.m. It's actually a miracle that I actually speak a language, so, you know.
You're speaking so amazingly clear, right? You're speaking even better than in Maya Dynamics. You should always be up at 3 a.m. working.
I emailed my
Man, I mean, I'm speechless, but hey, what I can say. So yeah, actually, unfortunately, I don't have, my tablet is like, the tablet actually doesn't operate with 2 screens. Unfortunately, I have to like disable one of my screens in order to keep the proportions of my drawing there. So
right.
Yeah. So yeah, to cut the chase, like, what do you think, Derek? How horrible it is.
Come on, tear it up, Derek. Tear it up.
No, I'm not going to tear it up. Not this one. You did. I can't. I'm like pointing the damn screen
Mr.
again.
Complicated, what's up with that nostril? He can smell everything with that nostril.
He doesn't have a nostril. You added eyelids on there.
Yeah, I forgot actually the nostril.
I can tell you like to do your own thing. You're almost breaking the top line there. I mean, you're like an anarchist. What's up with this? I'll do it my way. I don't care what Derek Stevens says. He's a freak.
Oh my!
I'm a freak in the sheets, I'll tell you, and a man on the streets.
No, what you don't understand about Mr. Complicated, he lives on the edge. He's got one of the most powerful computers ever created.
So always, like, live at the edge. Living at the edge, pushing the limits is my way,
That's right.
Next time you're going to see the hair going out of the line. That means that I already pushed the limits.
No!
All right.
No, seriously.
All right, so,
Well done.
seriously, any thoughts, Derek? Any suggestions?
Please.
No, I think you did great. The only thing I could say honestly is you took a few steps and didn't listen to directions. That's all right. You can do your own thing, and I welcome everyone to that. You followed along. I can tell it's Woody Woodpecker. Do you have any art experience in the past?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever drawn a woodpecker before?
A woodpecker? No. Actually, honestly, when I was at high school, I was like, I loved the Mickey Mouse comics. And I was like copying the cover pages from copying them from like, not tracing them, actually copying. Just put the cover in front of me, and then I was like copying them on the paper. It took me like really hours and hours to get them. And somehow I was like interested in that, and then I just dropped that. And ever since I haven't actually even tried to sketch or anything. Honestly, I even joined the class because I had like so many worlds, so many monsters in my head, I couldn't project them, and I felt so bad about it. So when I saw the class, I was like, yay, finally somebody can actually get,
Well, those monsters in your head, they make medication for that, okay? And we can talk about that. And you can come and lay down on the couch and tell me about your mother, and it can all be good and work.
And with that, thank you very much, sir. And we will be jumping. We'll be jumping back over. Let's take a look at one more. Thank you very much,
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so let's take a look at one more real quick. So we've got Mr. Stephen Turner that we're going to jump over to your screen, sir.
Stephen Turner, any relation to Michael Turner?
Hey, look at that.
My favorite artist. Well done.
No voice. Aw. Well, let me talk for him. You can see I did this amazing drawing here. Derek, I knew what it was from the start, so I went ahead and finished it before you did yours, and I did mine so much better than yours. So what do you say about that, sir? Nothing. That's right. You have nothing to say because I am awesome and you are not.
The pecker is bigger than my pecker on screen. If you look at it.
That's a really good job, though.
Seriously, a really good job. Everyone's following along great.
Yeah, that's
and again,
fantastic.
if we just one step at a time. The way I equate it literally is to algebra. I can't do algebra to save my soul. But if you have this huge equation, all it is a step-by-step process. Hopefully that's going to help the more analytical people out there. If you can equate that to drawing as we're doing step by step by step, it'll be a piece of cake for you. Iron Soul's still on poop list. Not coming off anytime soon. All right, we're going to do one more exercise. Can everybody deal with that before we do something else?
Hang on 1 second real quick.
Sir?
And I just wanted to do this as per request. I'm going to switch over to my screen really fast.
Did you do one?
No. I'm over here trying to run the command center. I just need to remember how to make myself a presenter. There we go. So we did have this one come in from Miss Streeter. So here's another one for you to take a look at, Mr. Derek Stevens. Wait, no, wrong one. Ha-ha! There we go.
Oh, that one's good.
That's really good. You guys are making me smile, seriously.
I emailed you a picture
Well done.
of mine, Jason.
You emailed me a picture?
Of my screen.
Oh, boy. Hang on 1 second. And wow.
It's so bad. Mine's hair got wet.
That's... Okay. Can we see Nina's, guys?
Not only is the hair wet, it looks like he's on drugs. I have dilated pupils. I need a tree to pack real quick. Oh my God, just give me a tree. I need a fixed bag. Give me a tree, give me a tree, give me a tree.
Surreal said mine's bestest. Oh, never mind. She beat me. Okay. It's a start, Nina. It's good.
It is a start.
The tablet before today.
Outstanding.
That's my
Both you guys. All right, so we're going to switch back on over here to the lovely Mr. Stevens. Thank you, guys. Oh, by the way, for those of you that are watching this video later, I do apologize in advance. This is not going to be like your typical software application class. This is a very interactive class, meaning it could potentially be frustrating to sit and wait through, while we're looking at other people's images, but that is very important. So I just wanted to throw that out at you. So yeah, let's continue, Mr. Stevens.
Roger that. All right, here's a workspace again. Same thing. We're going to do this one more time. Then I'm going to show you a few more tips, tricks, and trips. Wow, hold on. Can we edit that out, please? I sounded like I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks after that, and we're going to discuss more about shapes. Here we go. Workspace. What I want you guys to do, remember the first shape we made was a circle. This is not in the syllabus, by the way. This is a bit more impromptu, but I think it is relative to hammer the point home that you can make anything with shapes. And it's not perverted, I promise, Buzz.
No, continue. This is good.
All right. Now what we're going to do is we're hiding a shape, drawing through a shape, so to speak. Make another circle like that. I can see Buzz going, what the hell is this? What we're going to do is make a triangle in the crux right here.
I was with Cedro. I'm not sure exactly how to say his name, but I was thinking a butt as well.
I know, I know, Buzz is like, what in the hell are you drawing? This is me dropping the soap in the shower.
Whoa, Derek, okay.
Here we go. We're going to make a letter C at the edge right here, like this. Letter C, not a big one, not a small one. On the other side here is the backward letter C, like this. Give it a minute. Circle, draw over the circle here, a little triangle, letter C, backwards letter C, and then my letter V like that. Everyone's caught up. Miss Nina, how you doing?
I'm going to redeem myself this time. I'm determined.
You can do this. You can do it. What we're going to do is...
We got the guess of a toilet seat, a fly, drugs. I don't know.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
Frog?
I'm excited. Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
At first, I thought you were just like throwing out random crap. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
No, I'm reading what people are saying over in the...
Okay. What we're going to do here is draw...
Ooh, Streeter,
right
very
through
good. Two people kissing. That's, yeah.
Blah. And I'm teasing them. We're not going to do that.
Now, dude, people might be following along with pencil and paper.
Okay, sorry. Don't really do... Well, the first rule of drawing is draw lightly. Second rule is draw lightly, so you don't have ghost lines. And I'm testing you people out. Here comes the hate mail. All right. We have our little triangle and the V and the C and the backward
We have
C.
some Garfields coming in. I can see that.
Oh, it does kind of look like Garfield-y eyes.
Going to come in here like this. Like this.
Nate just said
Colors.
he's got pencil and paper. Don't mess with him, man. Don't mess with him.
That was funny. All right, you're right. It's going to be Garfield. We have little eyes right here. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 for some whiskers. 1, 2, 3 circles for some whiskers. And again, look at the symmetry. We have 3 over here in a little triangle pattern, 3 over here in a little triangle pattern as well. So what we're going to do is, now here's the trickiest part for beginners for Garfield. Remember how we kind of like drew on the edge over here? And the imaginary line would run, don't draw a pencil and paper, people. The imaginary line would be in through here if that was a second circle. Okay, so we're going to kind of do that with our ears as well. Starting from just above the eye line, I'm going to make a letter funky N. I'll call that my Romulan N.
I honestly don't know where you went to school at. I've Yeah, that's a shark fin. I don't know what you're thinking on a
Oh,
Friday
shark
night.
fin. I like that better.
That is the
shark
letter shark fin.
That is the letter shark.
I'm just saying.
I like that. Okay, the letter shark fin. Notice the straight line right here is almost the cracks in the middle of his eyeballs, not the bottom. What we're going to do is come down from the top just a little bit, make another shark fin like this. And it curves out a little bit. Note that little nice subtle curve. And I hope Jim Davis doesn't sue me as well. So we're not going to call him Garfield. We're going to do a backwards letter C again here. And on this side, another letter C. We're almost done. We're looking at the top of the ears right here. Corner. Bring it down like this. What we're doing is we're faking a dimension, a third dimension. We're giving it depth. From right up top here, we're going to come down here again like this. And now all I have to do is do details. So what I'm going to do is my 17 setting on my brush, I'm going to bring it to a 20 because I want a little thicker line weight. What I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has his little shading. What I'm going to do now, just because I want to discuss a little bit of line width variation, let's make his eyes a little bit, I guess, heavier. So we're going to start over here again. Follow this line, nice and smooth. And again, it's just not one-dimensional, we're making it pop a little bit. This is very rudimentary line width variations. And he has 3 little whiskers on each side of his head. So we go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And last but not least, they're upside down, or they're pyramids. If you know the Hollywood squares, you know the pyramids in Egypt. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now note, long, short, shortest. Long, short, shortest. Long, short, shortest. And he has 3 over here. Again, symmetry. We're going to mark over here. Long, short, shortest. Long, short, shortest. Long, short, shortest. Then you got yourself a little Garfield.
Where's the bottom half of his face? I was just curious.
Oh my.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, okay. So,
Oh my.
Iron Soul is struggling with the tablet on this one, especially the curves. Tablet takes a lot of practice, and I did see where you asked about how, so you don't have a lot of control over this. How do I change this? That's a good question. If anyone wants to help him over inside of BuzzNet, as we're not going to be focusing on any specific hardware stuff. We also had a question from probably one of the coolest names I have ever seen. And because I've not seen this name before, and I apologize ahead of time for messing it up, but Eulina, perhaps, E-W-E-L-I-N-E, or I-N-A, excuse me, asks, how is attendance handled in this course? Basically, as of the current series of courses that are wrapping up over on 3D Buzz right now, we are no longer requiring attendance for completion of certificates. And don't think for a second, Les Paul, that I have forgotten about you. All of that stuff has finally, it's all been integrated into the website so that certificates are now going to be easy. What will be required? The only thing that's going to be required is, yeah, Alex, you're going to get a certificate saying that you survived Derek's abuse. But the only thing that is required is that you have to turn in your homework during the class during times that are specified. This is very important. That's all. Outside of that, we're recording these and we are putting them up on 3D Buzz. So if you happen to miss a class, you can come back and watch it again. And now, a question from Mr. Anthony. While using low opacity, is there a way to shade an area with more than one stroke without getting darker areas where the strokes meet?
Is that addressed to me? Because
Yes.
I am not a Photoshop expert. What I do is I just use layers. My first, and I'm about to demonstrate what I do. I don't do shading in the beginning at all, and I think that might be a very big mistake. Again, you're building a foundation. We have to understand what the shapes are going to look like. My shading or my toning is probably next to the last thing that I do. I've got to get my shapes all prim and proper before I'm going to go in there and start doing all that. Now, if you're doing a quick gesture drawing, by all means, throw some shades and tones in there if you're trying to get a feel or a quick pose. And then after you do the quick pose, you're going to go out and then you're going to do your first, second, third, sometimes 7 or 8 passes. Nothing is fast except mistakes.
Though, just throwing in real quick, you should be, if your layer is on 100%, and then if you've turned your opacity down over on your brush, you should be able to paint over and paint over and paint over to build up. You will have to lift the stylus up, basically, and then put it back down. You can't just scribble something out and keep scribbling over it and over it and over it for it to get heavier, because that won't work. It'll only go to the opacity that has been set. So just throwing that out there real quick.
Thank you indeed. All right, so again, this is not for anyone really to join along. This is kind of showing you what my workflow is and how we're going to build shapes. Actually, before I do that, let's come over here. All right, I have this alien chick that I did for Buzz a long time ago. What I'm going to do is, we're talking about layers. I'm going to throw another layer on top of this, come down to layer 1 where she's at. I'm going to go to my opacity, and I'm going to bring her down nice and almost transparent. Go back to layer 2, and I always like to name my things. We're going to say pass 1. Usually this would be a second pass, but I'm using this for an illustration about shapes. So, I'm working on this layer here, pass 1. This is my drawled layer that I've already drawn on top of, right? Coming up here, I'm going to darken this up a bit so it shows up on your screens. And when you look at this, you see this alien. I like to think of a hot alien hot chick, because I like to draw women. One of the challenges I was given was to draw an alien with a cone head and reversible sort of weird knees. I'm like, but I need to make him look hot. How do I do that? Well, you throw a little bikini on him. And anyway, we're not concerned about dress just yet. It's not a concept art class. But we're going to look at shapes. I got a big triangle through here. Cylinder. The shoulder area. Circle. Circle for where the elbow's at. This is going to be a cylinder through here. It's attaching everything. I'm not for sure what to call that except a semi-triangle. This is a boob shape. Sometimes people like to make big boob shapes. However, that's not what's called for. Another cylinder type area right here. Circle for where the hips are at. I like to come down here, circle for where the knees at, and then I connect. It looks like a cylinder. This is where the ankles are going to go. Another cylinder. The feet are almost like triangles, and they had 2 toes. So, it's a rectangle. We do the same thing over here. Triangle, and my toes. And then the hand you can't see. And when I turn my little layer 1 off, that's all there is to it. I mean, there's this small triangle shape, circles. And later on, again, when we learn about anatomy, we'll learn about Sony, who wants to advertise on 30
we've got to get your machine cleaned up with some of this ad stuff. That's like, ugh.
I hope nothing else pops
that
up.
Doesn't,
you know what I mean?
That doesn't drive you crazy? That would drive me insane.
It does. I'm just not tech savvy enough to know how to turn that crap off.
Aw, okay, yeah, we'll help you get that taken care of.
All right, so any questions on how or can you guys see what I'm talking about? From building the duck and to the Garfield, the Woodpecker and the Garfield character. By basic shapes. Can you guys see what I've done?
Yes.
Yeah, that's such an important thing with just the basic shapes, because you can lay out poses and you can tell right off the bat if a character that you've drawn with basic shapes like this, if the pose that they're in makes sense. Or you can have someone else look at it, because that's another thing, of course, in your head. It's going to make sense you drew it. But you could have someone else look at it and be like, what do you see here? And if Derek showed me just this, I'd say, well, I see this character that is magically floating at her or it, well, I would assume her because of the boob shape, at her knees. She's floating about a foot off the ground is what I'm thinking. Unless the ground was sloping up and was a hill.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, yeah.
It's a surfboard.
Again, very important stuff as Derek gets carried away. I do want to take 1 second and flip us back over here towards my screen and share the lovely Jen's drawings that she submitted real quick for us to take a look at. I think she's done a spectacular job. So let me go ahead and come back over here. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I did email you my Garfield, and I think
I'm getting this out of here. That just scares me. All right, so
I need a tree. Give me a tree. Just
so let us go ahead and take a real quick look at this.
Nice,
Mr. Stevens. Get some thoughts from you. So
whoever this is, brilliant. Well done. Awesome job.
This is Jen's. Yes, it's fantastic. Very nice. And then
I did email my.
And she put Garfield in parentheses, like I wouldn't know who that is. And Woody Woodpecker, not bad. He looks a little bloated. Maybe he's taking some steroids. Maybe he's sick. Got a bad cough, and he just...
he dips. Just saying. Okay, so that solves that. Very, very nice work, Jen. Yeah, thank you for sending this over. That's excellent.
Well done, Jen. I'm proud of you.
So here's what I want to do. Let's go ahead and switch back over to Derek screen real quick. And I want to remind you guys that we are, and I'm not going to be able to switch over from Skype. That was a funny mistake. Couldn't find the presenter button over there. But I want to remind you guys, it's starting off super easy, hand holding, a little bit of fun. Yeah, I feel sorry for you guys on Tuesday. Anyways, we're gonna take a break right now for 10 minutes. We've been going for just over an hour. I'm gonna pause the video. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I did not mean to startle you with an instant screen cut like that. And suddenly here is this most amazing, strong, not Garfield you've ever seen. But this is, as Donald says, manly Garfield. So critique time, any thoughts, suggestions, Mr. Stevens?
Well, I have to say I love the strong jawline, because you could throw a cowl on him and he could be Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
He could, and you don't have to have the pointed ears. Just have his ears, junt out. I like the start of the pectoral muscles with a bit of definition in there. Definitely a manly man. No lasagna for that cat.
All right, very good. And let's see, we've got Mr. Nate has sent one over. He is working with pen and pencil, but is doing a wonderful job. Here's Mr. Nate's incredible, not Garfield, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute.
That is really good.
But what's missing, Derek?
I see the lines in his ears are missing.
There you go. Very good.
Yeah, and he didn't pay attention when we were doing about the line width and the eyes.
Okay. Hang on. But you got to cut him some slack. Look how nicely he did with all of the shapes. Shapes are nice.
He did.
Those are good
shapes.
circles.
Yeah,
those are really great circles. Yeah. I'm proud of you. He got the three little triangle things going on for his whiskers.
Yeah, and then he also sent over a not Woody Woodpecker for us to see. Oh, wow. Nice job.
Oh, yeah.
Well done.
His doesn't look
very, very well done, sir.
Very like mine.
So not a Nina's.
No.
So
no,
not Nina's. All right. Thank you guys very much. And
well done.
Let us go ahead and jump back over to Mr. Stevens' screen, and let's get some more exercises going on. Very important. So here it comes your way, Derek.
Roger that. On activate. Wonder Twin powers activate. Da, 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 da. All right. I'm a geek. We all know that. Here, we're... Is she giggling? She probably is.
She is.
All right. Here's Dilio, ladies and gentlemen and ladies of all shapes and sizes. What we're going to do is we've talked about basic shapes, and I've been asked, how do you go about doing X, Y, and Z? And I'm going to do a very rough, maybe 1 to 2 pass rendering for you. And again, this is not an anatomy class. I want us to focus on shapes And then after we do this, I'll open it up for questions and answers and yada, yada, yada. And then we're going to move in talking about what we're going to do for homework and a few other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer here. And I'm going to name it. You should always name all your, get in there, your layers. I'm going to say pass 1 because I make lots of different passes. Hey, ladies. And I get rejected too. I'm going to turn my pen or my little brush into a bluish stroke. And all right, let's bring my brush stroke up, say to a 9. My opacity, again, I like to work in, we'll say 36. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm on first pass. There's a little line right here. What am I doing? Well, again, I'm creating shapes out of everything here. This is where the back muscle, the spine, is going to be. And again, I like to draw women, so we're going to draw a woman. Women have nice.
And real quick, just I saw Alex ask this question over in BuzzNet. They're not supposed to follow along right now. They're just watching how you like to use shapes to start roughing stuff in, right?
Roger that.
Okay. So.
Okay, hey, look at that circle. They got a line, another circle. Some shapes going on right here. We got the boob shape right here. We got the neck shape. Notice, here we go with the spine. I'm going to draw them through here. See how rough this is? I mean, it's really, really rough. I'm going to come across here like this. Spine, this is where the second circle's going to go. We can kind of draw through. Notice from here to here, I'm just brief about proportions. Okay, people are like, wow, what is that? Here, I'll zoom in for you guys. Another trick that you guys can do is come up here to image, adjust, and you can mess with your levels. So I can show you what it kind of looks like here. It's a mess, isn't it? Everyone's like, yeah, it's a mess. All right, so this is my first pass. Pass 1. And it is my pass. Let's put an ear right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come and create another layer. I'm going to name this, you guessed it, pass 2. And I'm going to come back to pass 1, go to my opacity, and I'm going to bring it down. You can see how it's kind of fading right through here. I don't want it too light, but not too dark. Coming back up to pass 2. What I'm going to do now is switch from a bluish, what color do you call this, Buzz? A cyan?
Yeah, it's like a cyan color. That works.
A cyan color. Okay, we're going to go into more of a grayish tone, right? Right! And we're going to come up here, get my brush. Let's test it out. I'm going to put my opacity up a little bit more to 51. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to start tracing my lines that I already have laid down. If you notice, there's a circle here that comes over top of this. And again, no one needs to follow along. Not yet. Nice, thick, not thick, that's what I'm looking for. Smooth lines. Here we go here. Here's where the spine will go. A little more of the back muscles, and we can go over those later. Curvature of the bottom, because everybody likes bottoms. And the stomach. That's kind of a big breast. It looks like she's got smashed. So we're going to bring this in just a little bit here. Shoulder, bring this back up a little bit more. And then to differentiate where the different bottom area is, this, come back up here where my ear is at. Control Z. So we have a quick shape. And I don't really like this, so this is a little Photoshop trick for you guys. Again, I can do this because it is only pass 2. I'm going to select this area. I'm going to hit Control T. And I might widen it out just a little bit more. I like that. Right about here, I'm hit Enter. Control D to deselect. Now I can come up my brush area right through here. Or I'm sorry, my eraser, then select my brush again. And we can take it down like that. So we got a female's torso. And to make things simpler, we're just going to say, ooh, I'm in the water. I like the wrist bone right here. Oops, that's how much I like it. Come on, select it. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right. All right, with this said, I'm going to select one more layer. And we'll say, we'll call this the pre-buzz layer. That's just a play on words because buzz is awesome. Woo, a little shout out to my boss, man. All right. Okay, I'm going to take my first pass. I'm going to hide it. I don't need it. Where are you at? Okay, here we go. This is the layer, my pre-buzz layer I want to go on right now, all right? Fading this down. Son of a...
Opacity, not fill.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir.
All right, again, not a Photoshop guru, but I'm working on it. I really like this, and she, by no means is she fat, but at all, okay? She's not. I just want a more slender type face. And actually, I like to have pointed ears, because what guy doesn't like pointed ears on a chick? Are you guys with me there? Anybody? Anybody? So, okay, see, again...
You got a hell yeah, yep, sexy, hot, slink, pony ears. Sure, Derek. A. That's from Leonard. Okay, continue. Okay.
All right, just again, having some fun here. I'm going to pout because I'm so pretty, but I can't see anything. We'll have her looking off to the side because I'm mysterious. And again, this is... Have fun with hair. A little bit bigger lips. Kind of a button nose. And from here, I would just start redefining everything again. And I'm not going to bother with line weight variations because that's not what the class is about. But you guys can see this is how I would start to do my work. We can add a little bit of armor here, a little bit of overlay of something here. And I'm like, honey, I'm not drawing naked women. I just have to draw this before I put clothes on them, sort of thing. Let's respect this area right here, shall we? Very good. And there you go. I mean, that's literally how I start to draw everything, from 1 pass to 2 passes to 3 passes. And hold on, this is Buzz, my shark fin. So, any questions now?
I did see one over here that said, do you consider using the smoothing settings on Inkscape? Cheating? Because that's what I've been doing.
Wow, ik was nicht. That's how much I understood about that. Help me out, Buzz. What are they asking?
I'm not exactly sure. The Inkscape.
I'm not wanting to be insulting by any means. It's just, I don't know what you're talking about.
And Mr. Bratwar said vector lines. So, hang on. Says, I thought I could control my pen a little better if I messed with those. I see what you're saying. smoothing settings with the pencil tool in Inkscape. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if you're wanting to work with vector lines and all, then you know, so be it, because you can have absolute perfect control with the Bezier handles. But so I mean, no tool is cheating. If at the end of the day it leads to the result that you're looking to show. I mean, all of these things are just tools.
A couple stories about that, and the real stories. When I was in college, and I hate logo type and this and that, but we had to do all that. I did get to learn anatomy and physiology, and that was awesome. Then airbrush. I could not wait for airbrush, but my instructor, he and I did not get along. I didn't understand the way he was trying to teach class. So one of my friends was actually an airbrush artist in the mall, and people laughed. Dude is making money. So I'm like, hey man, hey, can you show me how you do this stuff? Because my teacher, we're just not getting it. So he gave me shortcuts. In the world of airbrush, you have to use this Frisket. In Photoshop, it's called Mask. But Frisket costs lots of money if you use a lot of it. He's like, yeah, don't use Frisket, use shelf paper. I'm like, what? Use shelf paper. And he showed me all these tricks. Use your shelf paper, use your triangle to hold it down here, and this is a good mask and this and that. I learned more from this guy who actually did it for a living in one night than my instructor the entire 2 semesters I was with him. So our final project, they gave us 2 weeks to do. And I did Boba Fett from Star Wars, basically like the bust thing from the chest up. And it was brilliant. And I got done like in 2 days. And I did everything in front of him. And he came up to me and was like, well, I didn't show you this. I didn't show you that. I didn't show you this. But I was done, and it looked great. Like Buzz said, the end results is what counts, unless you're in an academic setting. Because I did not get an A in my project. I got a B. I'm like, what the hell's up with that? He's like, well, you're doing things that I didn't show you. I'm like, I was doing better things than you showed me. I mean, it really made me mad. So I'm a firm believer, the ends justify the means in art. The last story about this, if someone wants to Google Christopher Shy, a good friend of mine, and he did a lot of stuff for White Wolf, helped me get into the business and train me a lot. Then he started using the computer and a lot of Photoshop manipulation. That's basically all he does now. He has dead files, he calls them, of thousands of different shapes of eyes and noses and mouths. And he uses Photoshop and his drawing skills together to build comic book pages. And they're beautiful. They're painterly. And in the beginning, people are like, oh, you're cheating. You're using the computer. But you know what? He's like, I don't need to sign autographs. I just need to sign my checks, because he's making money. And if you don't want to use the tools that are given you, fine. It's more work for me. And I agree. I mean, I used to want to say, I'm this hardcore, I only use pencil and paper. And Buzz is like, yeah, that's great if you want to be a dinosaur. But if you want to teach my class, you got to learn this Wacom thing. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So it's important to embrace new technologies and new things. The world is changing. If we look back to Batman in the 1940s or Superman, you look at that art, it's very rudimentary. You can tell their body shapes. But literally, if we put today's comic book artist back in 1940, you'd be like an idiot savant. The body, the anatomy was not that well known unless you were a doctor. Times change, and the $10,000 question is, does art reflect the times, or does times reflect the art? We don't need to discuss that here, but we do need to understand we need to embrace new technologies and to practice. End scene. Okay.
Real quick, let's see over here. Ryan had said a second ago with his question, he had asked, isn't that how you're doing it? Derek is just using the brush tool, and opacity and brush size is all Derek's doing, just regular brush tool. Gabrielle had a great question, and he asks, will the spine line defines the pose of the character, or can we start by any other shapes such as arms or legs? Great question.
Well, here's the dealio. What I've always been taught, and I'm a firm believer in, is if you start, where's my brush tool, with an arm here, bicep, deltoid, tricep sort of thing. If you're used to doing a certain pose, Yeah, I guess you could do it and make a skinny dude. Like you. But, with that said, what I like to do is I like to start with center mass, and I'll tell you why. Because if I start with center mass around through here, hold on, let me create something real quick. Again, basic shapes. I call this crotch area, not only the junk, but the area like you're playing baseball, what's the home plate? Cylinders for legs, circles for shoulders, circles for knees. Even now, with my center mass here, I've run out of room. Oh, I got a little more room. If I start with my center mass, I know where my drawing, which way it's going to be going. If I start out with an arm, it's hard for me to control everything. And the other thing, if you look, what I'm going to do is with my select tool, my head right here, see how big my head is? I'm going to take this move tool, and from the shoulder to the elbow, that's one head length long. Shoulder to the wrist, one head length long. Same thing up here, from the shoulder to the elbow, one head length. I measure everything, a lot of it I do, by head lengths. So if you start out with the arm, I guess you could say, well, let's measure from here to here and then make my head that certain size. But that's how I operate. And I encourage everybody to operate on how they want to do their workflow.
And Gabrielle comes back and says, so it helps with proportioning?
Yes, brilliant. Well done. It does. It helps with proportioning. Very much so. And then again, just the loose drawings. If I want my character over here doing a backside, hold on.
I was wondering if we were going to be able to make it through an entire class without a gun, other than one being with Woody Woodpecker or the Garfield-like character. Success.
Success. And the reason I do this is I'm showing again proportion. I know how much room I have to work with, and if I measure my head from here to here, I know that I'm going to have enough room so I don't run off my work area. Now, I didn't physically measure this, but I've drawn this pose so many times, I know how much room I have. When you begin, you start out, I honestly expect and hope that you do. You get your thumb and your finger, you measure your head, you can put it on the screen, you can put it on your piece of paper, and like, okay, this is to this. But again, that's more of anatomy, and I don't want to go there right now. What I want to do is recognizing simple, everyday shapes. So I'll take a couple more questions, and we'll move on to simple shapes, back to the main point of this class.
Okay, there was a question that had come in regards to how do you spell Christopher Shy? Is it just S-H-Y, or do you know?
Yep, S-H-Y.
Okay. And so if we have any other questions, we did have one from Vincent. Can you ask Derek if he knows about the artist Louis Royo? Yeah, Royo. Yeah.
No, I don't. What do they do?
Rojo. Thank you, sir. What do they do? He draws a lot of sexy ladies.
Well, I must have to check this guy out,
yes,
because we're cut from the same cloth, because I, too, like to draw lots of sexy ladies. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit talking like that. Sorry.
So, Louis, I shall Google it as well over here. So if there are any other questions, go ahead. And Mr. Leonard just said that you would love that artist, Derek.
The main artist I get, I guess, my inspiration from for comic book styles is I love Michael Turner. Michael Turner was awesome. He passed away couple of years ago of cancer. He did Fathom and Switchblade. He elongated his characters, made him super sexy. That and Scott J. Campbell. He does Danger Girl and a lot of other things, and some really brilliant stuff.
I'm flipping over to my screen real quick just to show. Thank you very much, Alex, for posting the link over there in BuzzNet. So yeah, I
have seen this artist before, not in person, mind you, but I've seen the work. But you know what? The best way to learn about artists, first of all, you have to have a good, solid foundation. But you look at them, you break them down, you see what they do, and I bet you tens of thousands of dollars that I don't have. It's all with simple shapes in the beginning. And, later on, we're going to learn about painting. We're going to learn about shading. We're going to learn about values. We have an entire class dedicated to color theory, because color can be wicked. It can be wickedly hard and wickedly simple. And sometimes the most simple things are the hardest things to pull off. Buzz, there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3 rows down, second to the end. See the line drawing?
Right here.
Yeah, if you can put that up. Look how simple, I don't say simple, but I bet that's what he starts out with. You have to have a good, solid foundation before you start painting, and then putting layers on top of layers on. So once you learn the foundations that we're going to go over, you can do anything.
Yeah, and of course, just to point out, some of you guys are recognizing this over there. Of course, this is not his actual Rojo's art. This is fan art. But back to what Derek was saying about using shapes and still, just getting in the lined outline, using shapes, and then going from there. But yeah, he's absolutely amazing. Very, very nice stuff. Let's go ahead and switch back over to you, Mr. Stevens.
Roger that.
Thought I'd just throw that up there real quick for you guys. Thank you again, Alex.
All right.
All right, back to you.
All right, so tonight we've learned about basic shapes, the circles, the ovals, the cylinders, the triangles. They can make anything. I'm a firm believer in that. What we're going to talk about, throw a little bit.
I just got to say this real quick. I'm so sorry to interrupt. It just kind of blew my mind. Eduardo, thank you very much, sir. Eduardo said, I'm afraid you got the spelling wrong. Actually, Vincent did spell it correctly when he put it in there. It's just I'm doing such a crappy job at trying to pronounce it. And if I did spell it out loud and read from his how to pronounce it, then I apologize, because it is Royo. But this was just pointed out by Eduardo Rojo. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, but it's funny. He has the exact same last name. Maybe it's his brother.
Wow. He's probably in here, the real dude, watching me going, this guy sucks. That's not how you do it at all. You just start throwing paint and it happens. It's magic. I'm teasing you. You can't do that. I mean, I can't do that, so I can't teach how to do that. But we're going to talk about basic shapes again. Silly Nina. We're talking about a little, hold on, let me darken my lines up real quick here. I'm going to select a different color so I can show it better. Align with variation, say have an 11. And we're going to talk about our little cubes and how important are cubes for shapes. I'll tell you why they're important. Why are they important, Derek? Here we go. By no means is this proper, spot-on sort of dimensional. But what we can do is we can cut this in half here, this imaginary side here, follow along here like this. This is supposed to come back. Oops, hold on. Control Z. And we can come out like this. My contacts are drying up. I can't see anything. And use the erase tool. Now this very elementary cube, let me get my erase tool up a little bit more. We made a chair by using some guidelines out of a brick, basically just a brick, okay? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to look around your room, where you're at right now. And the homework assignment is draw at least 3 different simple shapes based on things in your environment. So, if you have a clock in your house, man, that's going to be simple, because then you can draw, when you put the brush tool, it's a round clock, and then you can put some detail into it. Of course, yours is going to be better than that, all right? If you want to get really fancy, you can work on your 3-dimensional cubes area. And again, what we can do is we can say we're going to draw a Chester
talk
tour.
about, make sure to mention about that perspective again, about those vanishing lines. Just recap on that. Very important.
Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dot here, dot here. I'm going to make a dot here, hold down Shift, come to this area right here. This is going to be just freehand. Take this dot here, this dot from here. This is almost like a 2-point perspective. From here to this dot, here, down. This is probably a lot more complicated than needs to be done. But what I'm doing is I'm using these dots for my vanishing points. Very poorly, I might add. Here, my erase tool. And we have what we consider perspective, a 2-point perspective. I don't expect anyone to get that fancy. What we're going to do, I recommend doing, is just making your line just by eyeballing it. Eyeballing it. And then again, we can come back through here and put a cup here. Making some drawers. Cigarette smoke. Paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look. It's Derek. He's sexy. Looking at myself in the mirror. Woo-hoo. Again, you guys are going to be a lot better than that. But this is what I'm looking for. I want some stuff in your environment. And the reason I want things in your environment, it's not organic. I don't want organic shapes. If we draw a person, everybody knows what a person looks like. And there's a lot of work that goes into that about anatomy. So there's a lot of work, a lot of time to get invested in that. I want inorganic things around your environment, shapes of rectangles like your chairs and your desk and your bed. You don't have to get overboard. But let's start out really simple. Use the shapes that we've already discussed. That's a big thing. Any questions?
Yeah, if there are any questions, throw them over into the questions panel. Again, the homework thread along with the video will be posted on 3D Buzz a little bit later, and I showed you guys at the beginning a class where you can find that. Always go back to the live classes link at the top of 3D Buzz and then go to this particular class, and you will find where both homework and the video is at. So that'll make things easier until the new website's up. Once the new website is up, you will then have access to a student dashboard, and that will change everything.
And I know this isn't as slick and pretty and sexy as like a Disney or a Marvel sort of thing, but again, this is not what the class right now is designed for. I want a solid foundation for everybody. And if you've looked at the syllabus, Mr. Iron Soul, Poophead, he said with a wry smile and a wink and twinkle in his eye, later on we are to make some monsters out of shapes that we're building right now. And the reason why I selected monsters are cool. Monsters don't have to look like people. Monsters' proportion do not have to look like people's proportions. So we have a lot more leeway and freedom in creating a monster with understanding just simple basic shapes and going in and saying, I need you to draw Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then you have to worry about the anatomy and proportion. So we are going to move in that direction, but it's just going to take one step at a time. I just don't want anyone to get impatient and frustrated.
Now, Robert asked a question, one that I'll answer, and and he said, "So will you be sticking to the 2 hours as much as possible during the class?" And the answer is yes. With these 2 hours classes, basically, I have to allot the time with GoToMeeting that we're going to be using. Many of you know that some of our classes, run longer than 2 hours. The goal has been, and I think we've done a pretty good job with it over the past month with the other classes that are going, to keep between an hour and a half and 2 hours. So, and I saw where he said, "Oh, good, I remember a 6 or 7 hour Blender 101 class that almost killed me, or almost killed the video server." Excuse me. Yeah, but after that very first Blender class that ended up being that long, it was at that point that videos that needed to be that long or lengthy ended up being cut up into part 1, part 2, etc. And we will, of course, be doing the same thing with, for example, the Objective-C class, which is scheduled for 4 hours worth of meeting time. So for those of you that have not joined us in the past for classes, there are times when we're on a roll with material that is being delivered and we run past the 2 hour time. We do our best to stay within it, but if it's valuable information that we want the students to have, we're going to do it, because of course you guys can disconnect it at any time and you can watch the material later if you'd like, or if it was something that we were going over after the 2 hours that you weren't even interested in, no big deal. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out real quick. So I think that's pretty much it, right, Mr. Stevens?
It is for tonight. Again, I want to start out really nice and simple. I invite everybody back. Next week, we're going to, the way the format's going to work, we're going to look at each other's homework first thing, and we're going to critique it. We're going to talk about it. Then we're going to do simple shapes used in lesson 1. We're going to draw a creature out of these simple shapes. And then we're going to talk a lot about line with variation and how to make things pop. And I have a couple other surprises up my sleeve. But the important thing is you have to practice. So your assignments, if you choose to accept, and I know you all will, I want 3 different inorganic items in your house, in your environment. And you can make them as detailed as you want. I want you to have a go at it. 3 different shapes. So something that is a circular type shape. You can combine a circle to a square, but try to use 3 different shapes. That's the assignment, that's the goal. And the practice, the way you're going to use your hand-eye coordination, that's the biggest thing. And how you control the pencil, how you lay it down, or the stylus, the pressure. And again, it just takes practice, and anybody can do it. I'm a firm believer in that.
And Mr. Complicated had another question that was coming in. He was hollering for me over in BuzzNet saying that I missed his question. But, Mr. Complicated, it is not in the question panel. So if you can post it again, I would greatly appreciate it. Wolf Knightley asked a question. He says...
Wolf Knightley.
I
haven't heard that name in a long time.
Should they all be in one picture? Oh, you mean drawing just one thing with 3 shapes? Question mark.
Wow. Okay.
3 drawings?
Let me reiterate. 3 separate drawings using shapes.
3 separate images
Of inorganic
Roger
objects using simple shapes.
Yes.
No. Exactly. Oh, I am so sorry. I see what's going on here, Mr. Complicated. Your questions, since you have been promoted to a presenter at one point, they don't go in the questions panel. They go in the chat thing. And he asked the question on which basis you position your vanishing points? Question mark.
Well, it really depends on what we're going to do. So here's, I love 3-point perspective. I love buildings, and okay, you still have, put a point here, point way down here. And then I'm going to start out here, and this is arbitrary. I'm just going to point this out here like this, from here to here, from here to here. I'm going to clean some of this up.
Now let me ask you this: before you start drawing this, I mean, you've got some sort of idea, obviously, in your head of where you're wanting vanishing points based off of what you are wanting to draw, right?
Correct. And again, we're going to go into bird's eye view, worm's eye view, and all that sort of stuff. So basically, I made this. Hold on. come over here and eyeball this.
Perfect, Mr. Complicated. Now it went over into the right place. He said, so it's not a random positioning of these points.
No, it's not. And what we're going to do is later on, we will break down what perspective is and how to utilize it. And again, if you have like a Superman dude up here, you may want the buildings that yay, flying through. So you may want details of a bunch of buildings that are down here.
That's the worst Superman I've ever seen. I'm sorry, continue.
That are down here where people can see. And again, it just really depends on what the script calls for or what your art director is calling for. Because we can only draw a human face so many times straight on. It gets boring. Sometimes we have to tilt the camera. A lot of sequential art stuff, you have to pretend, and you're the art director. You have to make the shots interesting. And again, we'll go through different perspective shots, different camera angle shots. That's all future classes. Brilliant questions. And no, they're not set up randomly.
And Mr. Donald Young had a question as well. He says, will we be getting into digital painting in later courses? And I would say absolutely yes. As long as people are interested in continuing to learn this stuff. Derek said he's in for the long haul. We will continue pushing everybody's skills further and further with course after course. So yeah, digital painting that's a must.
What I'd love to do is some people later on, much later on, they get a good handle on this. What I'd love to see is have a couple people write like a 4 or 5 page script, then divvy up the panels or pages with everyone who's gone through X amount of classes and say, okay, you've got page 1, you've got page 2, and then they can draw them, put them on there. Then whoever wants to digitally paint them, we can hand them off again and make like a 5 or 6 page book or something. We can come up with concepts and this and that. But going back to the assignment today, the basic shapes with inorganic things, how about if your script calls for you to go to Peter Parker's at a dentist office and the Green Goblin attacks? It sounds pretty simple, but can you tell me what a dentist office looks like? You better do some research, and you better know how to draw
white.
some of them.
Lots of white. Very good.
Lots of white. Lots of inorganic, interesting items. Because in the beginning, if you guys were around when Image was just launched, they were great at their characters, but their backgrounds sucked. There was hardly any background at all to them. And we're such an advanced and critical thinking, I guess, age right now. We want it all. And if it's cheapened or it's shortcut, everyone's going to know about it. You see a great movie with, some killer art, some special effects, but no story. It's blah. It sucks. But at the same time, you see a killer story and you see some really bad special effects. We don't like that anymore. It used to be we could tolerate one or the other, but now we want the whole package. So it's important to learn to draw everything, not just the sexy hot chicks in thong bikinis, because everyone wants to do that, including me. But you may need to draw a worker at a desk talking to the hot, sexy woman. I mean, we have nothing. You can't take anything for granted anymore, and it's got to look spot on.
I want to add one thing to something Derek was saying a second ago, and that's practice. With wanting to become good at drawing, you really need to practice often. I would do it every day, every single day. No, Surreal, not 5 hours a day. I'd do it 23 and a half hours a day. You'd be good quick. No, seriously, practice every day. That really is important. Don't try to just throw the 3 different things that Derek is looking for together and submit it and say, all right, well, that's it for this week. If you really want to get good at this stuff, don't do your homework until the end of or near the end of next week. Practice all throughout the week. Go ahead, Derek.
What I'm gonna do here is hold on.
While you're pulling that up, I force myself every single night to practice with my Photoshop skills and my photography skills as I'm trying to marry these two worlds together so desperately. And it's every single night. Yes, Vincent, I do every night. And it's...
He does. When I was there, he was like reading like a madman.
It's really important to practice. Okay, what you going to show us?
Well, let me get to my... I wanted to show you part of a sketchbook I had. And I used to never keep... I used to have to find it. I had so much stuff here now. Hold on, where's it at? Sorry, I was not prepared for this. There can be only one. It's around here someplace. Please forgive me, ladies and gents. We'll do this here. Sketchbook. I'm not great at inorganic things. It's taken a lot of practice, and this is one of my pages from my sketchbooks. If you look how loose it is, I mean, I had a red pen to work with at work. These are everything. When I was talking to people on the phone, I'm doodling constantly. What cool spaceships? How about elongated spaceship? Is this going to be the bridge or this? More stuff, more vehicles. It's just, and it's in my sketchbook. And they're not finished by any means, but at the same time, later on I can go back and go, oh, that was a good idea, or man, that idea sucked, or this or that. It's important to keep a sketchbook. And you can look about and see how far you've progressed. So I encourage everybody, keep a sketchbook. Not everything's going to be a finished piece of work. That's why I keep stuff like this and some of my DeviantArt stuff. So I can show people, like, hey, these are quick concepts. These are like quick 3 to 4 minute ideas. So what do you think? And then if we like it, if Buzz liked it, he was my boss at the time, we could explore this more. We can move it into image planes, or he may say shorten this up or do that, and eventually we can model it up. It's just, depending on who's, what your workflow is like. But keep a sketchbook.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, it's very good. Also, I saw a couple of things over in BuzzNet. Jason, can you practice for us? No, Wolf Nightly, have you gone crazy? And Vincent asked Jason, so you sleep 3 to 6 hours a day? Sometimes. Sometimes I just skip sleep altogether, like when getting ready for Raw and trying to finish images off. It was just an absolute monster because there was no sleep for like 2 days, and I was kind of like a zombie. But I would, at the very least, I would really try to practice at least an hour a day. Enjoy your weekends, take some time off. But I really would try to get an hour of dedicated time in if you can. You'll just get better and better. Muscle memory, and you'll get a much better understanding of perspective between what you're looking at and what comes out on the paper. So, all right.
Indeed.
Well, thank you guys very much. Mr. Stevens, thank you very much for tonight. We shall end real quick with me jumping back over to my screen to show off. Dun, 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 dun. Make presenter. Show my screen. Show the fish.
Yay!
Iron Soul's fish has finally surfaced. Da-na-na. So there's the fish.
My question is, how'd you keep the fish still enough to trace it like that?
And didn't it start to smell funny after a while? Nice job, man. Nice job.
Still on my poop list, but I like it.
Well, again, seriously, guys, thank you very much. And Derek, awesome job. Very friendly class. Now, I'm going to feel really bad about Tuesday with mine not being a friendly class, but just know I love you guys. I love all of you. So we will we'll see you guys starting up Monday as we start off our first workshop. But you guys have a wonderful weekend. And for those of you that are just hanging out with Derek and don't want to come see any abuse delivered by myself or Paul or any of the other instructors, I'll see you guys next Friday. Guys, take care. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.